Have you ever wondered, why do some people stand in the middle of a storm and still move forward as if they were born to win, while others stop and give up when a small difficulty arises? The answer lies here: mindset. Not luck, not circumstances, but what is going on in your head every day. Mindset is not just what you think, but how you program your life. Every choice you make, every step you take, is all controlled by the operating system inside your mind. If you let fear write the story of your life, you will live within limits. But if you learn to master the flow of thoughts, turn it into a tool, you will no longer be pushed around by life. You are the one who steers the boat. Winners are not different from you in their starting point, but in the way they talk to themselves. While you doubt, they make decisions. While you hesitate, they act. And that difference is your mindset, the number one weapon that no one teaches you how to use. Today, you will discover the power that lies within you, not through external tools, but by reshaping the way you think, feel, and react to life. There is a paradox that few people realize. What shapes your entire life is something you cannot see. Not your appearance, not your relationships, but the silent thoughts that go on in your head every day. They are not loud, they do not wear the spotlight, but they silently decide who you are and who you will become. Imagine this. If each thought is a brick, then every day that passes you are building a house, your life. The question is, are you building a strong fortress or a shack that crumbles in the storm? Successful people do not do it because they think positively, but because they think with purpose. They select their thoughts like precious materials to create a solid being. While ordinary people let their minds wander to their emotions, they train their thoughts like martial artists. They know that thinking is an invisible muscle, and if it is not exercised, it will become weak like any other part of the body. When you think about something long enough, the brain accepts it as a truth, whether it is true or false. A person who thinks he is not good enough, not worthy, will act according to that script. Not because it is true, but because the brain is programmed to do so. This is why you can stand still when everything around you is changing rapidly. Not because you lack capacity, but because you are living under an old operating system, an operating system installed by fear, prejudice, and limitations from the past. But what is great? You can change it. You can remove each incorrect code line and install a new version of thinking, stronger, more flexible, suitable for where you want to go. That is when thinking is no longer a burden. It becomes the ultimate tool, no longer a barrier, but a lever that takes you beyond all your old limits. But it doesn't come by itself. You have to actively choose it every day. Be conscious of every sentence in your head, because sometimes the biggest enemy doesn't come from outside. It comes from the thoughts you never doubted. Let's put aside the qualifications, luck, or background. What really separates the successful from the unsuccessful is not the circumstances, but the way they think when things get tough. When faced with a challenge, the unsuccessful ask, "Why me? Why do things always go wrong? Maybe I'm not good enough." The successful ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I improve next time? This is a test, and I will pass." Same situation, same failure, but two completely different people, two different reactions, and two completely different outcomes. The difference lies in how they interpret the problem. Unsuccessful people often live in blame mode. They blame circumstances, other people, the past. Successful people live in a proactive mode. They take responsibility, even if it's not 100% their fault. The difference is not whether you encounter difficulties. Everyone does. It's whether you get up, learn to handle them better, and move on. Unsuccessful people think in an all or nothing way. If it's not perfect, then don't do it. If it's not certain to succeed, then don't try. If I get rejected, it means I'm not valuable enough. Successful people think, it's okay to be imperfect, as long as I'm progressing. It's not that I'm not good enough, it's that I haven't had enough time to get better. Every stumble is data for me to optimize myself. They don't see difficulties as proof of their incompetence. They see them as feedback from life, an opportunity to adjust their strategies and hone their skills. And the most important thing, successful people don't need motivation to act. They act because it's part of who they are, like brushing their teeth, like exercising. Unsuccessful people wait for inspiration. They wait until they feel ready. But the truth is, ready never comes, unless you take action. Success is not a destination. It's a result. The result of a series of small choices, repeated, based on the right mindset. And if you change your mindset, you change the game. Here's a little known fact. You don't act rationally. You act on what you believe, whether true or false. And that belief is not born from facts, but from what you repeat in your head every day. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough. I always give up halfway. I can't be as successful as other people," then gradually, your brain will accept it as the truth. It doesn't care if you're joking, just saying it for fun, or just thinking it. It records every signal you send and turns it into a behavioral map. On the other hand, if you consistently repeat positive, constructive thoughts like, "I am a determined person. I'm getting better every day. I can do it, even if I start from zero," then your subconscious will start to reshape the whole way you react to challenges. This is not vague. It is neuroscience. The brain has a mechanism of repetition to strengthen neural connections. The more you repeat, the more it becomes the default. It is like learning to drive. At first, you have to concentrate extremely. After a while, you do everything instinctively. The same is true of thinking. You can program yourself into a winning mindset by using the right self-suggestion, in the right dose, and regularly. But note, repeating thoughts does not mean standing in front of the mirror and shouting positive phrases. It's select the information you take in every day, select the story you tell yourself, and actively reinforce your new beliefs through action. Want to be disciplined? Repeat, "I am disciplined." And then, do one small thing that proves it, like waking up on time, drinking water on time, turning off your phone while working. Repeat it. Do it. Build it up. One day, you won't pretend to believe in yourself anymore. You will truly believe. And when the belief is deeply rooted in your subconscious, you will act like a completely new person without even trying. Self-suggestion is not an illusion. It is a tool for reprogramming yourself from the inside out. There is a very dangerous thinking disease that no one tells you about, but it is secretly controlling the lives of millions of people. It does not cause immediate pain. It does not make noise, but it eats away at you every day. That is small thinking. Small thinking is when you tell yourself, "Just enough to get by is enough. I don't need to dream big, just be realistic to be safe. I'm just an ordinary person. There's nothing special about me that makes me want to be different." And so you shrink back. You shrink your vision. You distort your own potential just because you are afraid of growing bigger. Small thinking is not when you are humble. It is when you limit yourself because you are afraid of disappointment, afraid of failure, afraid of being judged by others. You think you know your place, but in fact you are living below your true potential. Not because you are bad, but because you have framed yourself in a tiny box created by yourself. Meanwhile, successful people always ask another question. How will I become the biggest version of myself? How can I make my life 10 times, 100 times more meaningful? How much fear am I willing to endure to reach my true potential? Thinking big does not mean dreaming unrealistically. It means you dare to think bigger than your current conditions. Dare to dream higher than what you have ever seen around you. Dare to step out of your safety zone to enter the growth zone. Because the truth is, you cannot have a big life with a small mindset. You cannot fly high if every day you only think about how to survive. You can't change the world if you wake up every morning and ask yourself, how am I going to pay the bills today? Want to elevate your life? First, elevate your thinking. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to dream big. Don't apologize for wanting more than the average life. And don't let your old thinking hold you back when you were born to be taller. Your next step isn't to do something big. It's to dare to ask, if I had no limitations, how would I live? The answer will lead you to a completely different way of living. And it starts with killing your small thinking before it kills your dreams. You can't change something if you don't know it's there. This is why so many people spend their entire lives in poverty, stagnation, and fear without knowing why. Simply because they don't see the toxic thoughts that silently operate inside their heads every day. Take an honest look at your mind. Have you ever heard a voice whispering in your head, "I'm not good enough. They're just lucky. How can I be like them? If I fail again, I'll be embarrassed. Let's do it tomorrow. I'm not ready today." These statements may sound harmless, but they are the root of all procrastination, self-doubt, doubt, and failure. These are negative thoughts disguised as cautious, practical, reasonable. The first thing you have to do is identify them. Every time you want to do something new, something bold, and there's a voice in your head that stops you, stop, acknowledge it, ask, does this thought serve my life purpose? If the answer is no, then it's not you. It's an old code written from past failures, fears, and obsessions. And you have the power to delete, overwrite, or rewrite. Step 2, transform. Once you've identified a negative thought, immediately replace it with a more proactive option. For example, instead of, "I'm afraid of doing it wrong," to, "I'm learning to do it right." Instead of, "I'm not ready yet," to, "Action will make me ready." Instead of, "I don't know where to start," to, "I'll start with the smallest thing right now." Repeat this every day, every time you face internal resistance. You don't need to win right away. Just start giving yourself back control. Step 3, take the opposite action. Every negative thought comes with a procrastination behavior. And the only way to break it is take the opposite action. Think you're not good enough? To just start. Think people will judge? To just share. Think you don't dare to fail? To take small failures to practice your courage. Action is the biggest response to negative thinking. You don't need to wait until you're no longer afraid to do something. You do it to no longer be afraid. A house that wants to stand firm in the storm must have a solid foundation. A warrior who wants to win needs not only weapons, but also a spirit of steel. And you, if you want to create a breakthrough life, the first thing you need is not skills, not opportunities, but an unbreakable mindset. That mindset is not born from luck. It is forged, tempered, and tested through every time you fall and stand up. Every time you want to give up, but choose to continue. Every morning you don't want to get out of bed, but still go out and do your part. An unbreakable mindset starts from one point. You don't negotiate with yourself. You don't negotiate with laziness. You don't find excuses to procrastinate. You don't wait for inspiration to act. You do it because that's the standard you choose to live by. Not because you're interested, but because you've chosen to be the best version of yourself, whether your emotions agree or not. And to cultivate this mindset, you need 3 pillars. 1, big and clear goals. Not the make more money or lose a little weight kind of goals, but goals that make your hands shake, your heart pound, your excitement and your fear, because they're so real, so big, and so important to you. The goal must be big enough to burn away any excuses for laziness, and clear enough that you know what you need to do every day to get 1% closer to it. 2, discipline without bargaining. Discipline is not punishment. It's the language of freedom. When you have discipline, you're no longer at the mercy of your emotions. You don't need motivation. You have systems. You don't try. You do. The trick is, start small. A morning without touching your phone. A day of eating right, sleeping right. A week of consistently completing your plan. From there, you start to rebuild your belief in yourself. 3, internal strength against the outside weather. The world is always changing. There will be days when no one supports you. There will be times when the results do not come, even though you have done your best. But if you build your mindset based on external feedback, you will collapse. On the contrary, if you act from the inside, I do it because that is who I am. I am disciplined because I am committed. I move forward because I have chosen to live as a warrior. Then no matter how strong the wind is, you will still keep the direction. And that is the mindset that cannot be broken. Not because it does not hurt, but because it does not surrender. Everyone wants to change their lives, but very few know exactly where they are going. And that is the tragedy of millions of people who wake up every day feeling tired, empty, busy, but still stuck in a vague loop. Not because they are lazy, not because they lack the ability, but because they lack clear thinking. They are not clear about what they want. They are not clear about where they stand. They are not clear about what they need to do next. And in the darkness of lack of direction, any direction leaves them confused. They jump from job to job, from goal to goal, from strategy to strategy, with the mindset of hoping something will change. But the more they go, the more tired they become. The more they try, the more they lose faith in themselves. Why? Because they have never stopped to look deep inside and draw a sharp enough mental picture to guide them. 1. The pain of ambiguity. Ambiguity makes you vulnerable to other people's opinions. Ambiguity makes you compare, doubt, and lose direction. Ambiguity makes you busy, but ineffective. Like a person rowing a boat but not knowing where he is swimming. And the sad truth is, no clarity equals no progress. 2. How to get ahead with clear thinking. To get ahead, you need to think like a leader of your life. And a good leader always does 3 things. Ask good questions. Don't ask, what should I do now? Ask, what do I really want? The life I want to have? What does it look like every day? If today were my last day, am I living it right? Redefine success in your own way. Success is not a lot of money or a lot of likes. Success is clarity and initiative in every action, no matter how small. A person who cleans their house with a sense of ownership is more powerful than a person who makes millions but lives in inner chaos. Rewrite your personal mind map. Don't wait for the perfect roadmap. Just start with 3 lines. Where am I? Where do I want to go? What small step can I start with today? When you have clarity in your mind, you don't need motivation to get started because you know what's ahead. And that's how you get out of the dark. Not with a big light. You can't control everything in life. You can't predict who will leave you. You can't prevent setbacks, failures, gossip, or the times when the world turns its back on you. But there is one thing you always have control over: how you think. Mindset is the hinge between reality and potential. What you think, you live. What you repeat, you become. If you let your life be dictated by old beliefs, stories that others have imposed on you, then you are letting others write the script of your life. And today, you can interrupt that circuit. You can choose again. You can restart. You don't have to change everything at once. Just start with a new mindset choice. I am 100% responsible for my life. I don't let circumstances dictate my worth. I act even though I'm scared. I move forward even though I'm not ready. Thinking doesn't change the situation immediately, but it changes you, and you change everything. Now it's your turn. If you're serious about taking control of your life, comment below, I choose to take control of my thinking, and share this video with a friend who needs it, because you never know, it could save a dream. Thinking is the foundation, but action is the lever. And you start now.